Welcome to our Atlanta Technical Podcast. My name is Jordan English. I am currently pursuing a photography degree here. And on today's episode of Student Takeover Edition, we will be talking to Karen Shacham, who is the head of the Photography and Design and Media Department. Karen, can you tell us a little bit about your educational background?
Sure. First of all, thanks for having me on here. Jordan is one of my photography students. So I received my bachelor's in journalism from University of Georgia, and then about 10 years later, I received my Master of Fine Art in Photography from the Savannah College of Art and Design in Atlanta as well.
Okay, awesome. And what inspired you to pursue your current career?
That's a great question. I was working at CNN in marketing, in digital marketing, and I always had a love for photography and did photography on the side. And while I was at CNN, I started a photography club, actually, at an elementary school. And that was the first time, it was an elementary school in Atlanta, and that was the first time I combined my love of photography with my love of teaching. And that sort of sparked my love of teaching as well, and wanting to pursue the Master of Fine Arts so that I could share that love with students as well.
That is so cool. So you mixed your hobby and then your love of teaching, and then you just
Exactly.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to students who are wanting to pursue this career path?
I would tell students that to first do research in the program that you love. Talk to people that are pursuing, whether it's video production, photography, post-production. There are so many different avenues you can take, and I think people they often get stuck in one specific route. Whereas, as a photographer, there's so much you can do. You can do portraiture, weddings, you can do studio photography, you can work in the corporate environment, same thing with video. So I usually tell students, research what's out there and talk to people. Like talk to people in the field to really get a feeling for sort of what avenue you'd like to go.
And I think that's one thing I really love about the industry too, is you don't necessarily have to pinpoint a specific job you want to do. You can bounce around a little bit and kind of discover what you love. But if you wanted to pinpoint and just do one thing, you can do that too.
Right,
so
exactly.
Awesome. And what two qualities do you believe are important to reach success?
That's also a really good question. I think especially as it relates to our field, I would say perseverance and creativity. And the reason I chose those two, I think this is a field that, everyone that has a camera, right, thinks they're a photographer, same with video. I think perseverance, because you really have to push yourself in this field to meet people, to get into the right environments of people that are doing the work. And creativity, now when I say creativity, I don't mean like innate creativity. I think creativity is important in separating yourself from other photographers or videographers. So what are you bringing to the table that's different?
Right.
So those are two things that I think really just pushing yourself, emailing, contacting people, going to events for video and photo galleries, things like that, and just being creative with your work as well.
Right. So perseverance, creativity, and if I can add one in there.
Yes, please.
I think consistency is a huge one, especially as with my experience as a photography student. I think consistency is something you need to succeed. Yeah. Well, and if you could leave us with any advice, what would it be?
I would say for students that are coming into photography or video production or graphic design, because we have both of those programs, I would say really it's not just about doing the work, and I think I mentioned this a little bit about perseverance. It's doing the work here, but also doing the work outside of here. And that's not just doing your photo shoots, whether it's in the studio or in the field, or doing your films or whatever you're working on. It's making those contacts and making those connections, whether it's through an internship or just meeting people at events where you could connect with them later. So I would say my biggest advice is don't just think about this as doing the program, coming to school and leaving, but really meeting people, so that you can actually, after you leave, then you'll have a whole connection with people outside of the program.
Yeah, I think that's some great advice. And as we come to the end of our episode, we want to thank you for tuning in and spending your valuable time with us on the Student Takeover Edition. We hope that you found this episode to be informative, thought-provoking, and entertaining. If you enjoyed what you heard, please don't hesitate to reach out to us with any feedback or suggestions of topics you would like us to cover. We love hearing from our listeners and are always looking for new ways to improve and grow. Until next time, continue to stay strong so that you can finish strong.